All right, we have a lot to get to tonight. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. The DEI and bias bullies. That is the focus of tonight's angle. Now, every time you hear some educator or corporate flack reference their important efforts to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion, one word should come to mind: scam. Now, this grouping of seemingly innocuous terms has become its own weapon against objective merit and excellence across the American landscape. The acronym is DEI, but it's really more like BVI, bureaucracy, victimology, and incompetence. Corporations spend as much as $8 billion a year for DEI compliance, with so-called diversity and bias experts being paid hefty sums to oversee this woke training and compliance. But DEI is its own cottage industry with its own side hustles. Even the rating agency Moody's has all the bureaucratic diversity lingo down pat.
We're integrating DE&I into everything we do. These measures and programs are being implemented and deployed globally.
Globally. And for its efforts to adopt quasi-quota programs and hiring, they then get a gold star from another DEI media front group.
Diversity Inc. named us as a top 50 company for diversity and ranked us as a top 3 LGBTQ company.
Of course, if it's a stupid idea, you can bet the NEA has been promoting it for years.
It's important to understand that not all of our implicit biases are as innocuous as peanut butter and jelly. These biases too often shape the language we use and the ways we interact with others, based on race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, and other cultural identities.
Translation: you may not think so, but you're a rotten racist, especially if you're not a minority.
This cycle of socialization can lead to microaggressions, stereotypes, discrimination, and even violence. These unintended sentiments that are embedded within the cycle's socialization are built around a culture of white supremacy that we must continually acknowledge.
The NEA. Now remember, these are the people who are organizing the teachers who teach our kids. And these type of creepy propaganda-style videos, they're all over the internet. It's painful to watch, but I had to do it. And it's wrapped up with the anti-racism and allyship movements. It's a bunch of corrosive claptrap. You know it, I know it. But it's not just found in our educational institutions. It's now embedded itself into all aspects of corporate life, with training videos and seminars. And I love this one. It bills itself as an unconscious bias workshop via Zoom. Are you looking to start or continue your DEI learning journey? So, of course, it was only a matter of time before it seeped into the practice of medicine, too, where grown men and women, real medical professionals, prostrate themselves before the DEI mafia.
Can you help us understand a little better this implicit bias view? So I'm a doctor, a patient comes in, white, African-American. What happens in my conscious or unconscious or in the interaction that becomes a generator of the kind of inequity you're talking about?
Research using the implicit association test finds that over 70% of all Americans have an anti-black bias.
Now, medical schools and hospitals are on board as well. And it's all based on that fake science you just referenced on implicit bias. Now, just as they manipulated the science on COVID and they enforced groupthink on vaccines and masks, they're doing the same here. So DEI becomes a religion like climate change. You must believe, no questions asked, no doubting tolerated. It should be obvious why Biden and his cabinet have repeated the mantra so often that America is systemically racist. They're laying the groundwork for complete DEI transformation of every aspect of the U.S. government and then American life. From day one, let's remember the Biden administration has emphasized that their own hiring is based not on merit or talent, but on firsts.
I made it a priority to build a government that looks like America, including the most diverse cabinet ever assembled.
The most diverse administration in the history of our country. And I should note we have appointed the most Latino leaders ever to the cabinet level position.
So you got Pete Buttigieg at Transportation, Alejandro Mayorkas at DHS, Yellen at Treasury, Javier Becerra at HHS, Lloyd Austin at the Pentagon. Of course, look, it's leftist box checking, and it's been an unmitigated disaster for you and me. The mayor of South Bend, Pete Buttigieg, somehow has the expertise, we're supposed to believe, to run a department with 55,000 employees? And Biden set this DEI stage with a big executive order last year that planted these poisonous seeds. There's bias mitigation trainings now at the Energy Department. They push an oppression narrative at the State Department. And of course, Mayor Pete at DOT even called DEI critical in advancing the department's mission. My friends, so much is breaking down around us. And it's not just because of the supply chain, but it's the Biden team we know doesn't care. Because in the end, they hope to train a new generation to believe that this is an acceptable way of organizing society. But we know it's not. The entire point of the civil rights movement was to promote equal opportunity without regard to race or ethnicity, but the Democrats instead are returning to old ideas of racial and gender discrimination, but they're just calling it by another name.
The immediate feeling you get or the immediate thoughts you have about a person, an assumption you feel, just anything you feel really stems somewhere from an experience you've had or your upbringing.
It depends on the region you're from, the country you're from, the background you grew up in. That shapes the person's unconscious bias.
There are a lot of opportunities to promote people within the workplace. People assume, a woman is of a certain age or they're married and you think, oh, she's going to want to have kids, so we're not going to give her this really tough, big project.
Here's my prediction. Companies that employ these methods are going to lose market share, they're going to lose sales, and they're going to lose customers to companies that promote people and they hire people on the basis of merit. State and local governments that bow to DEI will lose population, and businesses are going to flee as well to states that resist this discrimination. And hospitals that implement these racist hiring programs will end up delivering care that is subpar. Let's put it this way. Do you want to take your sick child to a doctor who landed her position through a DEI program? Or do you want to take your sick child to the best doctor you can find, regardless of DEI status? The midterms are right around the corner. And at a time when our country is in such dire shape, we need the best available people in all critical jobs. It's time to reject candidates who believe in governance through woke discrimination, the same people who stoke animosity and acrimony among Americans. It's time to defeat the DEI industrial complex and all the bias bullies. And that's The Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.